Hi guys, I wanted to chat about how to get the best purchase price on your next property investment or property development. My name's Adam Panisi. I help educate others into how to invest in property and how to develop using their best asset, which is themselves. So the key thing that I think a lot of people get stuck on when they negotiate is they're emotionally invested or emotionally involved in the transaction. So they see or they find this property and they think it's so good, and then the agent, if there's an agent involved, which normally there is, the agent knows how to play that to their advantage, especially in a hot market where people have FOMO of missing out on buying a property. Even if it's just an investment property, some people have been looking for some time just to buy something, and so will overpay just so that they don't miss out. So probably the biggest thing is not to get emotionally involved in your property. If it's your own home, that's a little bit harder to do because you are going to be emotionally invested into it, but you've really got to take a step back and look at, is this the best deal, or are you better off waiting for the next one to come along? Because the opportunity of a lifetime comes along every single day. But you've just got to remember there's only one step that you're 100% in control of when it comes to investing, and that doesn't matter whether it's property or anything else for that matter. The one thing you're 100% in control of is the purchase. Once you purchase, then again, there's always some form of element that isn't completely in your control. So just keep that in mind, that you can walk away at any stage, except when it's an unconditional contract, or you've settled the property, then it's too late. So the number one thing, don't get emotionally involved. Probably the other thing is people bid against themselves. I've seen this quite a few times as well. Like, think about at auction, where the vendor puts in a bid and then the bidder ends up bidding against themselves, really, or you might be bidding against somebody else, but you're in like a price war. So you're never going to win, or in my opinion, I've never been able to buy a property when I've been bidding against either the vendor or somebody else that's emotionally invested into the property. I've always come out and had to walk away. A couple of them I've regretted, but overall, as it stands, overall I've not regretted anything I've missed out on. There's always the next deal to be done. So don't bid against yourself. And what that means, if you're not at an auction, is a general property, if you're negotiating it off market or even on market, put a bid in or put an offer in and wait for a counter offer. Sometimes it's been hard, with my experience, to actually even get a counter offer out of people. And I recently just lost a deal where I was pushing them for a counter offer and somebody else ended up offering less money, but with clean terms, and I missed out on that. And that was a $23 million purchase. So try not to bid against yourself, but in that instance, I really should have upped my bid, upped my offer. But again, I don't regret having made that decision, and that property might come back online shortly. So it works in swings and roundabouts. You might miss out on one and then a better opportunity comes along. So if you do put an offer in, ask the vendor, the seller of the property, ask them to put in a counter offer. So if there's an agent involved, tell the agent you want a counter offer if they're not going to accept this offer. You don't say that when you first put it in. So you put in an offer and you give it to the agent or you give it to the seller. If you haven't heard anything back relatively quickly, you just follow it up and just say, how's my offer going? If they haven't come back with anything, or they say, oh look, it's not successful, well, you want to know why. Why is it not successful? What terms do they want? What's the price? Is the money not enough? And then the best thing is to get them to counter offer in writing. So your offer needs to be in writing. Don't make it verbal, make it in writing. And that can be something as simple as an email. I normally make it more formal than that. So don't make your offer verbal, put your offer in writing. And what I mean by in writing, that can be something as simple as an email. I like to do mine a little bit more formally than just putting it in an email. I'll normally put it on a letterhead and I'll sign it off electronically and then send that off. Sometimes I'll even do it personally. So we'll mail some of our offers out directly and just with the high level terms. I keep that as short as 1 page. If it's any longer than 1 page, I find a lot of property owners that you're trying to buy off, they just throw it in the too hard basket, or it just makes it too hard to get through multiple pages. So put your offer in writing, and then what you want to do, unless they're planning to accept that offer straight away, you actually give them an opportunity to accept it. So you make your offer expire within a certain period of time. I normally make mine 14 days expiry. So it gives them enough time to think about it, think about what they want, whether the terms are appropriate, and then hopefully make a counter offer back. So what you want people to do is counter offer. As soon as somebody's counter offering with you, it means that they're a seller, which is great if you're looking to buy the property. Obviously, you wouldn't have put an offer in if you weren't wanting to buy their property. So what a lot of people do is, or what I've seen a lot of people do, is they put in an offer, the offer doesn't get accepted, there's no counter offer back, and then what do? They get their offer and they put more money on it. And then once you've done it once, then the expectation is that you'll do it again. So it's best just to put the offer in and sit back and wait for the counter offer. That might mean that you miss out on some deals, or what it might mean is maybe you need to revise that offer. Try and get something at least from them verbally, like what they're thinking, because not everybody will counter offer. But if you can get something at least verbal from either the agent or the owner, like how much do you want? Is my offer in the ballpark? What price are you at? What about the terms? Is everything acceptable to you? I just did a negotiation the other day with another landowner. My buyer's agent originally did this negotiation 3 years ago, and we didn't manage to buy the property. Unfortunately, there were a couple of things that were misread when this was done by my previous buyer's agent. So I already own the neighbouring properties. So this property that I was negotiating, it's one piece of a bigger pie, so it is very important. And I try and at least, even if I'm not doing the deal, I try and at least get in front of the person I'm buying the property for, because then they can put a face to a name. It makes it more credible, and then I don't just have a buyer's agent or somebody who's found me a site negotiating on my behalf, and they don't even know who the buyer actually is. So I like to think that I'm fairly likable, and most property owners, they just want the best or the most amount of money for their home if they're moving on normally, or they want something that you know, if they need to find time to find a new property, they may want 6 or 12 months to find a new home. They may want to release a deposit. So you got to find out what the motives are before you even make the original offer, including having the terms in there. There's no point in doing a 60 or 90-day settlement if somebody needs longer than that to find a home, and then vice versa. There's no point in doing a longer settlement unless you're trying to get them, if they want a quick settlement, unless you're offering more money, so you're incentivizing them to take a longer settlement. So I hope that makes sense. So there's really only two types, or two things you can offer. It's either price or terms. So price is top dollar, so over market value in some instances at that point in time, but then you're buying yourself time. So it might be more money, but you want a 2-year settlement on that property. Or you go in with sharper terms and less money. So you can sometimes give people the option, and a lot of the times I give people two options. So it's like, hey, here's $1 million, I'll settle it in 90 days. But really, I don't want to settle it in 90 days because I want time to get the approval and do the due diligence. Half the time on the properties I'm buying now, I need at least 90 days just to do the due diligence, and a lot of the times that's cutting it fine. So I normally give them two options. So it's option one is less money, less time, more clean, and then I'll take the risk on the approval or how long it's going to take or whatever it is. Or my preferred is to go in, give them more money, and do it over a 2 or 3 year period. So a lot of people are happy to wait that long if you're offering them a premium. Now, a lot of what I do is off market. I don't have competition, and I'm the only one they're talking to. And the other point that I want to make is a lot of the properties that I'm offering money on, or I'm offering a 3 year deal on, nobody else would offer that, except that I know the planning scheme and what I can get approved on that property. And if I don't get it approved, normally I have it subject to a development approval or subject to due diligence or something for a period of time. And over that period of time, I work out what's the likelihood of either getting this through or getting a favorable approval, and whether or not it's worth proceeding with the property. So I hope that's helped you a lot. My key takeaways when negotiating: 1, don't get emotional. 2, wait for a counter offer or go through the items. So get an idea on what their motivations are and then offer that to them. But number 2 is get a counter offer in some form, preferably writing. And then probably the third one is probably should be inserted as number 2, is put the offer in writing so that they know that you're serious about the offer. Don't just offer things verbally. And even if you can, don't put it in an email, put it on a letterhead if you've got a company, or even if you don't, put it on a professional letterhead with the date on it. Address it to the person, either the vendor or the real estate agent if you've got a real estate involved, and just make it professional so that you're top of the list and all of your dealings with that landowner are completely professional, and they know that you're going to settle the property. So those are my 3 key takeaways. I hope that's helped you guys, and when you're thinking about your next property purchase, keep that in mind. Or if you want to share any other tips and tricks that you guys have, I've got a few more up my sleeve, so I might share those in another episode. If you like this video or you want to know more about anything that I've spoken about, please let me know. Just leave a comment or shoot me an email directly or to one of our team. We would love to hear from you and be able to help you out. And we'll, I'm sure, see you on the next one. Thanks for watching and enjoy your day.